Cargill recently said this about Bianca Belair, and I find it very interesting that she says it at a time in which those two stars are paired on WWE television. And I also think it's interesting to see where things go with these two, but more on that in a minute, because Jade Cargill, she has made an impact on WWE since signing with the company in 2023. A dominant reign in AEW has led to her run in WWE. And I've praised the company for making a very wise decision with Jade Cargill, because they've done a lot that it was the same in AEW with Jade Cargill, but also in a different way. I appreciate the fact that they brought her in as a babyface, because we've already seen her as a heel. We've never seen her as a babyface. So if you're gonna stretch the dynamic, stretch what Jade Cargill offers, which is a ton, then yes, having her as a babyface is smart. Now, when she first signed with WWE, they took their time and they told you, just wait. And we sure did, because we had to wait until January when Jade Cargill showed up in the Women's Royal Rumble match. But in the months following that, we waited and we speculated, what would WWE do with Jade Cargill? Would she go to NXT? Would she go to the main roster? Would she be featured on Raw or SmackDown? Well, the company certainly teased all of those possibilities, right? I heard the arguments of, well, she needs to go to NXT because she needs the training. She needs the reps. And I would agree with that. But also, when you're dealing with someone who has megastar potential, you might just go ahead and send them to the main roster and see if they're going to sink or they're going to swim. Now, in WWE's defense, they didn't just throw her out to the sharks. No, they have protected her. That is true. And they've done it in a very brilliant way, because not only have they showcased what Jade Cargill offers, what she brings to the table with her personality, her presentation, the way that her matches go, but they've also done a very good job of what they've done with her on television, because following the Royal Rumble appearance, which was very impactful and very, very impressive, well, they've paired her with Bianca Belair. Now, Bianca Belair and her, they teamed up with Naomi, and they went over Damage Control's Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane at WrestleMania 40. It was a very impressive outing. Well, how did they follow up with that? Well, we got her pairing with Bianca Belair as a tag team. And while, yes, we've continued this program with Damage Control, which I'll admit I'm a little over at this point. I mean, that is the storyline going into Backlash, that Bianca Belair was tired of talking about Damage Control. They won the Women's Tag Team Championships at Backlash France. And that leads us to today's video, because coming out of that show, WWE posted an interview with Jade talking about the big win and talking about the representation, right, of them being the factor and the African-American women carrying these titles going forward. Jade said this: "I have a 7-year-old at home, and I wanted her to know that she can do anything and everything, regardless of the obstacles that are ahead of her. We're out here taking things down every day and making historical moments like we're doing right now." She then talked about how she and Belair wanted to show the French culture that people can accomplish whatever they want, regardless of their skin color. Belair noted that representation is not a request, it's a requirement, which is a very profound statement, and one I agree with. She said that she was proud to perform in front of these fans and represent their race and their gender and show what women in wrestling can do. And while Belair was happy that they got to capture the championships together, it was an added bonus that they ended the reign of Damage Control. And this is where things picked up, because Jade Cargill pointed out that many expect her and Belair to be at odds, but instead the two are just working together and planning to take over the tag team division. And this is what she really had to say about Bianca Belair, which I want to dive into. She said, "Working with Bianca, she's going to do nothing but excel. So I have to excel. I have to go out there and I have to deliver." That is what it is. That is the standard here. You can't go out and half it. Okay, so that is the talking point of this video. This is the reason I wanted to talk about this, because not only is WWE giving Jade the opportunity of, okay, look, we're going to put you in a tag team. We're going to give you tag team gold. We're not going to push you right into the main event scene, but we think so highly of Bianca Belair that she is a main eventer, and no doubt she is, that we're not only going to pair you with her, but we're going to see if you can keep up with such a star. And up to this point, Jade has done that. And kudos to WWE. Kudos to Jade Cargill for keeping up with Bianca Belair, because to Jade's point, Bianca Belair sets a standard. And it's a standard in which she follows with Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, obviously Bianca Belair, but anyway, let me redo this list, y'all. Charlotte Flair, your Becky Lynch's, your Rhea Ripley's, your Bayley's, right? Outside of WWE, obviously Mercedes Moné. There's a standard in which we've seen the lows and the lows and the highs of women's wrestling, right? You want to look at the highs of today, and then you want to look at the lows of yesteryears with the Divas era and them not being taken seriously and them having legitimately 2-minute matches. You go from that and you see what Charlotte and Becky and Bayley and Moné and Mickie James and Saraya and Emma and all of these women that had to pave the way to where we're at today. And then that second evolution, right? I look at the names that I just mentioned as the revolution, and then I look at the Charlottes, the Beckys, the Monets, the Baileys as the evolution to the point where we're at today. There is a standard of which women's wrestling is conducted in WWE, right? They are right on the same level as the men. And so when you look at that, you have to keep in mind that these women don't want to go backwards. They want to go forwards. And so when you bring in a new star like a Jade Cargill, who is legitimately being pushed to the freaking moon with blasters behind her, you don't want to go backwards, right? And so that is why WWE is so protective of Jade Cargill, because they want to see her succeed. They see a lot of potential in her, and more importantly, they see a lot of money in her. And so by bringing her in and doing the presentation in which you have with her, and by doing the type of matches that she's doing right now, where it's very formulaic and it's very pre-planned, but also guiding her with someone like Bianca Belair in a tag team, and they can bring up the women's tag team championships along the way. I think that's a very brilliant way that WWE is not only booking Jade, but it's also keeping Bianca Belair out of the title mix while, you know, your Baileys and your Becky Lynch's and your Liv Morgans are fighting for top gold. Naomi as well, Tiffany Stratton as well, without keeping her off of television, right? She's constantly doing something. She's a constant champion. She's in a constant prominent storyline, just without taking L's and winning the top prize on Friday Night SmackDown. So that is very interesting by Jade Cargill.